So Gloo Mesh gives you a nice way to abstract away the complexity of Istio and allows you to create specific objects for each type of operation. It's very useful for example, a platform team to define which team can do what with a lot of granularity using Kubernetes R-BAC. If you were using Istio resources directly with objects like destination rules or virtual services, you can do much more than what you really generally are supposed to do, and you can get into a lot of trouble by making a lot of mistakes. And with this abstraction, what we provide, this granular R-BAC, that you can prevent this problem, and it's also a lot more simpler for the end user to set up the different policies. And for example, if we take this fault injection policy, what's very nice about this is that you can apply them to different routes or different destinations based on labels. So you can reuse the same policy and apply it to many different routes and different destinations. Fault injection is probably not like the best example of applying to a broad set of destinations, but we'll look at another policy later that might make more sense. So here I created this fault injection policy that is applied to any routes that have this label fault injection equals true. And if I create a route table for the traffic going from review service to rating service, and I have this fault injection equals to true label, then Gloo Mesh will automatically generate the corresponding Istio resources. So if I look at the virtual service here, I can see that the equivalent virtual service, it'll have the right policies that are automatically applied. And you can have multiple different policies that will be applied to the same resources in Istio. And everything's going to be managed by Gloo Mesh. And Gloo Mesh will make sure there's no conflict, etc. So now if I refresh the page, you can see it takes longer to display when I reach version 2. Version 2 is the black stars. And then version 1, it's very fast, but whenever I hit version 2, it's a lot slower because of the fault injection that we have configured. We can do the same thing with different policies. Here we have a retry timeout policy. This would be a good example to apply to a broad set of services. So being able to apply that based on a label is extremely helpful. So here, if I create this retry policy, and again, if I create a route table for when product page is trying to call reviews, now that whenever product page calls reviews, it's only going to wait a half a second before it times out. And because I put a 2-second delay earlier, now when reviews calls rating, it's going to time out and it's going to display an error. So this is a good way for me to test my applications. So now if I refresh, you can see you'll wait a half a second and then time out, and then tells you that the reviews is not available. So this is like a circuit breaking test. There are actually many different policies that all follow the same philosophy of being able to apply to multiple routes using labels. It's very powerful, and it offers you unified control over a large environments. So it gives you a platform admin to apply a single policy that gets applied broadly to their entire environment.